Hello, welcome to God and Country. I'm your host, Brian K. Hill. This is an edition of Vet Talk Travel and News. Got a few things to share, especially about our units that are deployed right now in Texas. I'd love to give a big shout out to the Guard units that have have helped in the recovery of over 500 or rescues of over 520 people. There's about 132 folks right now that have passed away because of the flooding. They're still trying to recover about 130 more that are missing. The uh, the weather does not look good right now for them. It looks like they're still going to have some challenges coming up. But so keep the people and our soldiers in prayer that are in Texas. Have a lot of work doing. Arkansas, give a shout out to Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She's extended the Arkansas Guard to help out there for another week. I'm hoping that all stays good for them as well. It always The guard world is a small world, so those of you involved in like aviation and different units, you know that in some of these fires and natural disasters, you'll meet up with a lot of folks over the years that help you on some of the worst, most tragic events. So please keep all of those units in prayer. Uh, Gonna go out a little way from the dark side of the news and share one more shout out for the Army. It's their 250th birthday. Now we're going to celebrate the big Army, but I'm going to push them to the side and just remind you all that the National Guard, we started in 1636, Massachusetts Bay Colony, and that shot heard around the world. That was us. Um, the term National Guard was first used in 1824 by the New York militia. In 1903, the Dick Act was put into place where your National Guard units got the same training as your active duty units. Um, by 1933, uh, we were formally called the National Guard of the United States, and it was made a reserve component of the big Army, and that's where the a big chunk of your reserve units that for the National Guard that help fill or backfill Big Army and the Air Force come from there, and they have the combat arms pieces of it. So if you're field artillery, if you're infantry, if you're with the gunships, if you're doing anything that's pretty hua, you're going to be in a National Guard unit. The reserve units have a lot more of the support. Like the Army Reserve is different from the National Guard in the sense that a lot of those folks are filling medical, cooking, logistics, transportation, those type of units. So with the National Guard, you get kind of a microcosm of the big Army scattered throughout your states. And the big difference, those that don't know, the National Guard, it helps cover a lot of if there's natural disasters, if there's civil unrest, homeland security threats. The guard can be activated in a pretty quick fashion, and that helps with uh, like you're seeing now in Texas. You know, our fellows are able to come up and help out in a really quick fashion. It's been a good year for the Army, and for the military in general, and not just the Army and the Army National Guard, but all branches. Recruiting numbers are up. It was their target was to have 55,000 enlistments by this time. They are at 61,000. So huge increase. We've had declining numbers, I think, since I want to say the 50s, but really over the last several years we've seen some struggling numbers, and we've been watching those climb up again. This is back in the days when I was recruiting, this would have made me excited. uh, the Army National Guard, their goal was 20,793, and they were able to get 22,000 993, 110%, over 2,200 more soldiers than what they were trying for. And again, the big army, 55K, and they ended up with 61,000. Everyone, even the Space Force, they have a ridiculously low number, like 400 and something, but they had like three over their enlistment requests. So hey, we're gonna have a few more military astronauts out there. I hope uh, that's going to bring some good things to that program. Now, overall, I would tell you this is the camping vacation month. Those for those of you that aren't at annual training and those that are at annual training, I feel for you, especially from my back porch when I'm drinking coffee or fishing. I feel really bad for you right now. I know a lot of you are out in the desert doing that training, trying to get all those certifications done, be safe, get home to your families. But those of you who aren't and that are camping, remember we're into fire season, and a lot of our guard members are going to be called up soon, which hope to in a future episode get information on the new fire unit that the Washington National Guard is getting. They're going to be based out of Wenatchee, which makes a lot of sense because that's a great central area to bounce off to for a lot of the fires that we deal with, that the National Guard deals with. Sorry, I'm retired. I'm not part of the we anymore. But um, I know from years of fighting fires in Washington State that Wenatchee is a great jumping off point to send vehicles, to send helicopters, to send soldiers and equipment to get to a fire when it happens. So stay tuned because hopefully I'll have more on that before the end of the summer. The thing I would recommend to all of you, especially those of you who have little ones, when you go to your campsites, be careful. Make sure that you're burning in the fire pits that they have. Find out ahead of time if you're still allowed to use wood for the fires, or if you have to have the propane ones. I know being from Washington, the propane ones just are not the same. It's not there. There's just something about a good wood fire roasting your marshmallows, or sitting around with the family having some stories. There's nothing quite like it. At the same time, we're already several areas are getting spot fires. I know just recently out in Belfair, they had some. Lake Cushman had a huge fire this last week. Um, be safe. Have Take that extra, if you have it. Take a fire extinguisher with you. If you're camping at sites where you know they might have water accessible, take a garden hose. I know it might not be part of your normal camping equipment, but take a garden hose and nozzle with you. You just be prepared is the big thing I'm saying. Have those safety routes in mind for you and your loved ones. A good exit strategy, because when those fires start, you don't get a lot of warning. You don't have a lot of time. Uh, so just keep that in mind. Look at the weather. Look at the fire charts before you even go out on your vacation. Just be safe. Get home. Um, Big thing I would say is y'all have had an exceptional year. It's amazing to see the National Guard is growing. Good to know that there's going to be a lot of new young ones coming in, taking your places for those of you that are getting out or have already gotten out. So that's one of those things that I always was concerned about in my process of when we were leaving, just having the low numbers. But I got out during COVID, so it was a rough time anyway. I'd like to leave you with a quote, and this is for you leaders out there. I have seen competent leaders who stood in front of a platoon and all they saw was a platoon. But great leaders stand in front of a platoon and see 44 individuals, each of whom has aspirations, each of whom wants to live, each of whom wants to do good. Those words were spoken by General Norman Schwarzkopf, uh, also famous artillery guy. As you stand before your soldiers, any of you who get that opportunity to be in a platoon leader, platoon sergeant position. Know your soldiers, know what they're going through, make sure that you're guiding them on their careers. Make sure you're getting your counseling statements done at the beginning when you first meet them so that they know what they need to be ready for, prepared for, what their expectations are. I'm not talking about the bad counseling statements. I'm talking about the initial counseling statements. When when a soldier comes into a new unit, you should be prepared for that soldier and already have their expectations set. But if you don't have them for yourself, it's going to be hard for you to lead those young ones as they're coming through the ranks. That's enough of my preaching. I think I'm out of time. And if you look back here, oh, yep, yeah, I think we're out of time. So you all have a good week. I will catch you on the next episode. And hopefully by then, we'll have the studio done. God bless. And thank you for your service. Stay salty.